In this video, I want to tell you guys about a terrifying St. Louis serial killer who goes by the name of Raphael Jackson. Now, this YouTube channel, The Brighter Side of Blue, recently released kind of a breakdown of the full confession of Raphael Jackson, the St. Louis serial killer speaking for the first time. And I thought this would be really interesting to break down on this channel, just the chilling story of a real-life serial killer from the 90s who basically allegedly committed 5 murders within the span of just 5 months. Okay, I'm not glorifying it. I'm not saying that this is a great thing to do, but I am interested in murders, crime, serial killers. It definitely does interest me. So I want to show you some of the footage from this confession. I want to tell you some of the backstory, and you're going to learn some of the history of this deranged serial killer and just how, frankly, he speaks about basically killing, taking people's lives, and just being a gravedigger, basically. Okay, so he basically terrorized St. Louis for a period of several years. And so I'm going to play you some large segments of this. We're going to react to it. So he would basically open up by pretty much admitting that he killed someone named Ricky over a drug debt. And he would sort of speak about his motivations of how he kind of got his first kills and then where his life ended up as time went on. And as you're going to hear, he had some pretty interesting altercations with gang members. He had a beef with the GDs in St. Louis. And it's a really interesting story. So let's get into the full confession of Raphael Jackson. This is gonna chill your blood, people.
For the purpose of the video right now, I'd like for you to state your full name.
Raphael Orlando's Jats.
Okay. What is your age?
28.
Your date of birth?
6/4/71.
Okay. Where were you born?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you married or single?
Married.
Your home address?
2629 Tennessee.
Okay. Do you work at the present time?
Yes.
What is your job?
Homicides and robberies.
Okay.
He said his job, his occupation is homicides and robberies. This guy is cold-blooded. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Jackson, previously we have gone over 3 homicides which have occurred. Okay?
Yeah.
One being in St. Louis, one being solely in East St. Louis, and then we had one that happened that started in East St. Louis and ended in St. Louis. Okay?
Yeah.
The one we'd like to start with first is the one that happened in St. Louis, okay, in which a Ricky Williams was killed. Okay, that was back on September 17th at 3137 California. Can you tell us about your involvement in that case?
Yeah. Ricky, I fronted Ricky some dope. You know, me and him was cool. I fronted him approximately 4.4 grams of cocaine, pure cocaine. I told him to bring me $200 back. You know, he can make $500 off of it, both of them together. I told him, please don't accept my shit if he wasn't gonna pay me. And he said he wouldn't even play me like that. He gonna have my money that night, So that night, he still didn't have my money. And I told him, I insisted before I gave my shit, I begged. I said, man, please don't accept my shit, because I got to have all my money. He took my shit. Then I ain't see him for 3 or 4 days. When I saw him, he told me he still got it. He ain't been doing nothing. He ain't moved it yet. He gonna take care of me. I told him, man, just get my shit back. I said, because you've been starting some shit, just get my shit back. At that time, I could afford to lose the shit. It wasn't no trip, but it was the thing that he just beat me for my shit. Well, I told him, have my money that night. I ain't see him for 2 or 3 days again. I saw him again, I asked him for my money. He said he gonna take care of me that night. He met with me, then he still didn't have it. Told me biz been slow, he ain't did nothing. So I don't see him. I'm asking everybody how they saw him. Ain't nobody seen him, And I kept looking for him. And I finally ran into him about 2 weeks later, and he still didn't have my money. He told me to meet him, that night. I tried to meet him that night. He ain't even show up. So that's about the 4th week I gave my shit. I was riding around you know, looking for some more motherfuckers that beat me for some money, you know. And he didn't, you know, they wasn't at home, so I couldn't kill them. You know, one of them owed me $8. The other one owed.
He said he's riding around looking to kill people that were playing with his money. One of them only owed him $8, and he was ready to kill him. He went to their home to kill them, and they weren't there.
Owed me 10, you know, but they wasn't at home, so I ain't killed them. But being that I was in a killing mood, I decided to look for Ricky.
He was just in a killing mood, and then he said, yeah, Ricky, who he fronted just over 4 grams of pure coke to, he was ready to go and kill him, and I think that's how it went down.
You know, and I found him, you know, me and somebody was with me, you know. I had dropped them off, dropped the guns off. We couldn't find Rick. And then as soon as I left there on the way home to go to bed, I synced him. I told him I was in front of him an ounce of cocaine. I told him just bring me $1,000 back there to give him a chance to make my money and make him some money. He said meet him back there in an hour. I went back to the dude I dropped off, and I picked up, had him to get a couple guns, picked up a couple guns, 38 and Glock 10. The dude was with me, had the Glock. I had the 38 with 6 shells in it. The Glock had 16. I rolled back around her. Ricky ain't came back yet. We rolled around the block a few times, waited around the corner, trying to see if we can see him pass on any street where he be on. And we ain't see him. And I kind of got spooked because it was dark and I kept hearing noises. So I left and drove around, asked some dudes if they saw him. They said, there was his car down the street. Some dude got smart with me. I started to kill him, but I said, no, I ain't going to get him. So I went down the street. As soon as I pulled up in front of the house on California where Ricky was at, he had his mama car or something with a little white Cavalier. He came out, I ain't blow the horn, he just walked out. And he came up to the van, and I asked him, I say, I told him, I say, get in so I can give you this dope. I don't want to be out in the middle of the street doing it. I was standing in the middle of the street in a stolen van. He had water in his eye, like he knew I was gonna kill him. So I told him, I say, get in. He said, can't I just give it to him right here? I said, no. I said, get in, because I don't want nobody to see me give you the dope. And he said, you can just give it to me right here. He said, where you want me to get in at then? I said, go around and get in the side door. And he just stood there, and I see some tears coming from his eyes. I said, you want it right here? He said, yeah. And I just reached out and shot him. I think I shot him in the face, and he hit the ground. I just reached out the window and shot the other 5 bullets out there.
That's cold-blooded. He said, you want it right here? And he just shot him in the face.
And then the dude was with me, reached over the passenger side with the Glock and just shot about 10 shells out of him, shot him up. And we pulled off, dropped the hot van off, and jumped in the legit car. And I went to the house, and I ate me something and drank a cup of coffee and went to sleep.
I mean, look, drinking a cup of coffee and then going to sleep is deranged as it is. So, you know, maybe I'm not surprised this guy's out here catching hats, but that is cold-blooded. And the matter-of-fact way that he's just talking about these murders is insane.
And that's basically it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He ran, he was snorting heroin, you know, he fucked up my money.
How much money did he owe you?
He owed me $200. I gave him enough dope because he was doing bad. Me and the dude was cool, you know. He was doing bad, so I, you know, was called myself helping him out, and he fucked me out my shit, you know. I gave him some dope to make more money than me. And plus it was almost pure cocaine, you know.
Did you refer?
So that is pretty alarming, right? But it continues on from here. So he would basically go on to describe 2 other targets that he murked. All right, basically two other people that he was actively planning to kill, and he'll basically just explain how all of this went down.
Do you know what kind of van it was?
Yeah, like a utility van.
Okay. But you don't remember exactly where you got it?
No.
Do you remember how long you had it?
That day, I stole it the night before and put it up. Then I went and got it that night to go and kill these other 2 motherfuckers.
And who was that you were going to kill?
My mama ex-boyfriend, and you know who she was engaged to, and his son.
What's their names? You know them?
Yeah, Lil Harold and Big Harold.
You know.
So he was going to kill his mom's ex-boyfriend and the son. Like, This guy's a
Their
problem.
last name?
I forgot.
What street were they on that you went looking for them?
Alberta.
Okay, this is before you went looking for Ricky Williams?
Yeah, I just wanted to kill somebody. You know. They paid me most of my money, but they have been spending me about my money for a month.
How many people were with you when you killed Ricky?
Just one.
Are you going to name that person?
Nope.
And why isn't it you won't name that person?
Because I don't honor no snitching.
What do
So he says you don't snitch, you don't do no snitchery, don't do any of that, right? That's not what he's on. But he would later open up about another incident that involves some other gangsters from the area. So he would basically open up about a specific incident where he got into a serious altercation with some GDs, some gangster disciples at a local club.
Raphael, on October 9th, 1999, this year, at page 10, nightclub in East St. Louis, a security officer was shot. Can you tell me about your involvement in that?
Yeah, me, a Jane Doe, and a Jane Doe mother, and Jane Doe mother boyfriend, John Doe, went over to the club, page 10. And it was, we was in there, and we went back to the back by the bathroom. Her mother had to use the bathroom. She went in the bathroom. We were standing outside the bathroom waiting to take some pictures, waiting for her mother to come out the bathroom. And a big old guy, I think he was a gang member, a GD or something. He get the beating on the door telling her, come on out the bathroom, let me in here. And he said that a couple times. I told him, man, won't you just let the lady go and use the bathroom and she'll be right out, And he talking about, man, I want to use the bathroom. He say, bitch, come on out right now. I say, man, won't you show some respect for the lady and let the lady finish using the bathroom, man. She'll be out in a minute. And it was the woman's bathroom. And he said, what the fuck you got to do with it? I say, I got a lot to do with it, nigga. That's my people. And then I say, he said, and that's her boyfriend right there. He said, well, he ain't saying shit. And he said, nigga, I am saying something. Once you get up off the dope. And the dude started, going off on me, And then I started going off on him, cursing him out, and I heard a whistle. And then all these gang members, GDEs up in there, started mounting up. All of them started coming back there. All of them was mounting up. I had a 38 in the club with me.
What kind of 38 did you have?
A 38 special, the same one I described earlier.
Okay.
Look, so he's fearless as hell, right? Like, he in there with a girl, her mom's in the bathroom, some GD banging on the door. They ain't trying to let the GDs in the door this time. And he went face to face. He said they blew a whistle and all the GDs assembled, but he was not scared, not backing down, and it popped off.
Can you give me that description again?
Black steel with a pearl handle with a chip on that handle. And got detective special on the barrel. I had that already in there. And he went up there, up front, started talking to all the dudes. The girls that was with me was telling me, leave it alone, leave it alone. I started going off on while he was walking away. And they started mounting up. So all of them started getting together in the group, about 20 of them. So I told the girl I would, I said, I'm just going and try to swatch this shit so I won't fuck up by night. And I went over there to the dude, I told him, I said, man, hey, that ain't even no trip. We gonna leave that shit alone. That ain't about shit. And I stuck my hand out. I said, we gonna let that go. And he said, nigga, get your bitch ass out my face. And I told him, punk ass nigga, handle your business, nigga. Nigga, it's on. Whatever you wanna do, nigga, it's on. And I walked out, went, got on the payphone.
Where's the payphone at?
Around all the way up to the end of the bar to the left. Right off the bar. So I made a phone call, called somebody, John Doe too. Told him, come to the east side. Told him I was going to send somebody down because page 10 hard to find if you ain't never been there. So I sent the girl and her mother, I told him to bring some shit over there. He brought a grenade, a Tech 9, and a 25 automatic.
He brought a grenade to the club. He brought a grenade and a Tech 9 to the club and a 25 automatic. This isn't a drill. This is a full-blown military incursion.
I sent them, when he called from the bridge and say he getting off the bridge, I sent them down to a Club Illusion to meet him so he could follow him down there.
The Jane Doe's?
Yeah, sent both of them down there. So they get back down there. I had the girl, they come back in, tell me that he there. So I called out front. I called on the phone, tell them I'm thinking about just going to kill one of these motherfuckers in here and leave, you know. And then he said, no, don't, you know, try to just walk out first, you know, and then, you know, see if you can just walk out. I say, all right. He said, because he ain't want to be, you know, involved really in his, you know, car was registered in his name. So I had them, I sent the girls out the thing. I had the girl to bring a gun in. I gave the 25 automatic to the dude that was in there with me. I sent the girls out to get my 9.8 off the lot and pull it a little bit down the street, about a few buildings down the street, park in the middle of the street.
What color's your 9.8?
It's just a color.
Okay.
You know, we parked it down about a couple buildings from the club in the middle of the street, and I had the dude, the other John Doe, parked behind them in the middle of the street. And I'm talking on the phone. I tell him, I say, I'm gonna send the dude out first, and then I'm gonna come out behind him just in case, because the dudes kept going in and out the club like they was mounting up and strapping up out there. So I sent the dude. I told him I'm gonna send the dude out when he get in the car. Then I'm gonna come out just in case they get the shooting. I won't have him in the middle of the shit. But before, so I tell him we ready to come out now. Then as soon as I say it at the police, he come over there, the guard on the door, and start pest search, saying somebody say you got a gun on.
You say police. Can you describe this guy to me?
Oh, he's a white guy. I don't know. I don't know what he looked like.
What do you have on?
He had on a security guard uniform.
Okay.
And he had a automatic 9mm on him.
Did he have it in a holster?
Yeah, it was a Beretta. You know, so a small Beretta. So I'm talking on the phone still, and I see him over there petting the dude down, feeling all on his clothes. And then he turned around and pointed. He had the gun on the dude while he was petting. He turned around, pointed the gun at me on the phone about 5 feet away. So I turned sideways like I couldn't hear, so he wouldn't be tripping on me, because he pointed the gun at me, because he knew we was together. And then he turned the gun back on him when I turned my back. I reached in my inside Tommy jacket, pulled the hammer back. Only had 4 bullets in the gun. I think I shot somebody earlier, I don't know. I pulled the hammer back, and he felt the gun on the dude in his right pocket. As soon as he put his security guard put his gun in the holster when he felt the gun. He dug in the dude's pocket. That's when I pulled the gun up and just shot him 4 times. And everybody in the club ran. I ran out. And didn't nobody really see it, because it was fog, real thick fog and storming outside. I ran down the street, jumped in the car, and rode and made a wrong turn and ran the car off the road, because we made a wrong turn. So I tried to make a U-turn, and the car went down on a little ditch. It was too muddy to get it out. Then we got out, got ready to start walking. And here come the other John Doe. He pulled up, picked us up. I was going to have to pull my car out, but he said, fuck it, leave the car. I snatched my papers out of the car, and on back to St. Louis.
Okay. Now,
I had on a Tommy blue jean jacket, Tommy hat. Both of us had on Tommy gold glasses. Me and the girl had on Tommy gold glasses. I had on the Tommy hat. I had on a Tommy shirt, a Tommy blue jean jacket, Tommy belt, Tommy pants, and Tommy shoes, and Tommy socks. Up under my blue jean jacket, I had a New York jersey on, beige with blue New York signs on. Under the Tommy jacket, you can see it a little bit. And she had on a New York jersey.
So both of you and the Jane Doe basically dressed alike?
She had on jeans.
So look, he's quite forthcoming. He's willing to tell everything about the situation, the clothing, the attire, how it all went down. He's basically spilling the whole beans about the whole situation. Now, he would basically, explain later on, he was actually disappointed that he didn't get to finish the job when it came to this shooting. All right, listen to this.
Is there anything else you can tell me about you shooting the security guard at page 10? Was there anything else involved in this?
I ain't want to kill him. I'm disappointed. I'm not really disappointed. I didn't want to kill him, but I didn't give a fuck. But I was disappointed because I didn't get to kill the motherfucker who got smart with me.
So he was disappointed he didn't catch his hat. He was disappointed he didn't kill the dude that got smart with him. All right, this is the mindset that Raphael Jackson has during this period. Now, he would elaborate later on in this. He would talk about a carjacking that ultimately escalated into yet another fatal shooting.
Your involvement in that incident?
I went over there. I stole the van. I don't know where I stole it from. and I had a driver. I had another little guy with me. I let him use the tech. Before I took the 38 and put it in the trash can, I took it out that night after I buried it and took it for one last round. I put the 38 on me and the 10 millimeter. I wiped all the bullets off, all the guns, and loaded all. I put 28 bullets in the Tech 9, and I put 15 in the clip and one in the chamber of the 10 millimeter. And we rode on the east side. And we just riding around looking for balls, motherfuckers with money and rims and beats. And we pulled up on club, whatever the name of the club, I don't know the name. I was across the street from this club sitting on the lot waiting for somebody to pull up that looked like they might have some rims, beats, and some money. And three guys pulled up. Burgundy looked like about an 85, 86 Cutlass pull up, and they got some loud music in the trunk. They pull up and park. We sitting back there, and they don't get out. I'm waiting for them to get out, so we get the masses ready, but they don't get out. They keep the car running. And for a couple minutes, then they bag up and pull. They was blocked in, so they bag up and turn and pull at the tip of the lot where, if they wanted to, they can pull right into the streets. And so I had my driver to drive around the block and pull through a back alley, lots or something back there, and pull around, let us off right past a little shed or garage or something. And we put our masks on. I had a 38 in my hand, with gloves on, and the Glock. And the other guy, he had his mask on. He had an orange mask on. I had a white string mask on with a hood and a Tommy sweatsuit. So we jumped the fence and ran across the lot. I pointed the 38 and the 10 millimeter to the passenger window and told the motherfucker to get out. And the other dude who was with me, he pointed the Tech 9 at the driver's side. And the driver got out, which was Keith. He got out. He made him sit in the back on the driver's door in the back seat. And the other guy, no, that wasn't Keith. The one that jumped out was on the driver's side in the back. Keith was in the middle. And Wooden, he was the driver. And the guy that was with me got on the passenger side. I was on the passenger side in the back. I had the Glock pointed toward them two in the back, and the 38 with the hammer cock pointed toward the guy in the front. And the guy was with me in the front had the Tech 9 pointing toward the drive. We made them drive. I wasn't gonna kill nobody. I wouldn't let all of them there. I was just gonna drive them close to the St. Louis Bridge and make all of them get out. Then drive on across the water, because I didn't want them to know that we was going to St. Louis. And we get about half a block down the street, and I look at the guy on the door in the back, and I say, I don't trust you. You look like you would try me. You look like you a threat. And 5 seconds later, the motherfucker jumped out. I just got to shooting at him while he was jumping out. Shot him while he was jumping out the car. We were going about 30 miles an hour, and then the back driver window in the back seat, shot from the sound or something. We drove off, and I told them, me and the guy in the back, I let him put his hands down, fry up a cigarette. We smoked a cigarette together, and I let him drink his, he had some Hennessy. Me and him drunk a little Hennessy together. I told him I ain't gonna kill him. Y'all some good brothers, Just don't try what your friend try, be no damn fool. I say, I ain't gonna, I'm gonna let y'all live, just don't be tripping. I took my mask off then, but they kept turning around looking at me. So we got by the bridge, and I told him to go and drive across the bridge. He tried to speed, and I told him to slow the motherfucker down. And I told the guy that was with me, I say, this motherfucker keep speed, or maybe he don't keep his head straight, we gonna kill that motherfucker. As long as y'all keep y'all head straight, and don't make no motherfucking mistakes or try nothing funny. We ain't gonna trip with y'all. We just want your car, your rims, and your beats. So I told him, I said, if the police pull us over, you just pull over. I say, all the windows tinted in the back of the car. I say, you just pull over. I say, if the police hit their lights. And when the police get out and start walking up toward the car, I'ma kill them. I'm gonna kill all y'all motherfucking ass. I say, no, just be cool and I ain't gonna trip with you. I just want your money, your car, and your rent. So we drive on 70. I tell him to get off at Branch Street. And I had to ride around here and where it's a deserted area. Where it ain't no cars, no number one house around the corner. We ride around the corner, and I tell them to get out. I put the 38 in my pocket and took the Tech 9 from the guy that was with me and pointed it, bagged up about 10 feet and pointed at both of them while I had the other guy to search both of them. After he searched them and got money off of him, and I told him to take his jacket off and throw that in the car. Then I told both of them to get on their knees on the ground, put their head behind their back, and until we drive off. So the guy that was with me got in the car. I gave him the tech back. He got in the car. I went around the driver's side because he said he couldn't drive that good and fast. So I got on the driver's side. I started the car up, and I got back out. I said, I forgot something. Walked over to Keith and just started shooting. I shot him. He failed and jumped back up and started running, and I just kept shooting him, and he ran and hit a corner on me. And then I said, how the fuck this motherfucker steady running? Then the other guy, I say, fuck him, because the other guy, Wooden, was running down the street. He was almost at the corner. So I ran around, jumped in the car, and floated all the way to the corner. And while we was riding down the street, the guy that was with me got to shooting the Tech 9 through the front window, shooting at Wooden. And Wooden got to the corner, his leg gave out, he started stumbling, and he turned the corner and fell. So I turned the corner in the car. And the guy that was with me just got to shooting with the Tech 9 while he was laying on the ground. And I reached over from the driver's side and shot at him twice and drove off and turned. And it was a roadblock. I made the wrong turn. So I just went through that, drove the car and to a spot or a vacant house. It took all the music out the car, radio, all other little property. And then I drove the car somewhere.
So look, he is just straight on some demon shit, right? They're chasing people down, shooting them with Tech 9s. Now, the last thing that I want to show you from this video that was insane, there was a crazy it was sort of dark humor in a way, because the investigators would actually present him with his own gun that he used in these crimes, and this would elicit a pretty crazy reaction.
Does this look familiar right now?
Let me see if it's...
All right, well, I'll let you see it just a second. How about?
Just look at it.
And where was this gun at?
in my black leather briefcase.
What was with that in the black leather briefcase?
A 10 millimeter Glock, the one you got over there.
These two guns were together?
Yeah, a couple masks and 1 or 2 pair of gloves. And I think a phone number was in the bag.
He's gassed to see them guns, man. He wants to get to touching them again. But look, okay, I thought this was really interesting. If you want to learn more about Raphael Jackson's story, you can go and check it out on The Bright Side of Blue. Okay, this is definitely one of them crazy little just gangster serial killer low-key stories that you don't really see getting too much shine. So yeah, let me know what you thought of that, man. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I'm out for now. Peace.